There's some hoes in this house. There's some ho-ho-hos in this house. Anybody else? Oh my gosh, I cannot be the only one that is still obsessed with the WAP song. I got my apparel in the swag store now. I got a sign here, Christmas size sign that says there's some ho-ho-hos in this house. I'm obsessed. If you follow me on social, you already saw my little mini photo shoot that I had with it. But anyways, this is leading into my very merry giveaway. Yes. For the first time ever, I'm going to be doing a giveaway. If you haven't already seen the post on my Instagram today, go to my Instagram page. You can find me at the Rachel Main. You probably already know that, right? I mean, you've been listening to this podcast for how long now? Maybe this is your first episode. I don't know, but hello, I'm Rachel Main. The Rachel Main. That's where you can find me on Instagram. And again, I'm doing my first giveaway ever. So go to my Instagram, find that post. It will be posted today, which is December 14th. This is only going to be running for the week. So you have 7 days basically to get your little butts entered into this very merry giveaway. And here's the deal. Here's how you do it. You're going to go to that Instagram post. You're going to like the post. You are going to follow me, again, the Rachel Main. If we're not already friends? Are you friends on Instagram? If you don't already follow me on Instagram, go ahead and follow me. I promise. I'm positive. I'm sexy. It's all good stuff on there. And also, the most important part, you're going to tag a sex-positive friend in the comments of that Instagram post. Because sharing is caring, y'all. I'm on this movement. I'm making this world more sex-positive, so I got to share this stuff with as many people as want to hear it. And so that is where your help comes in. If you know somebody that would love to get more sexual health information, not that elementary school sort of education around sex that you got, right? The real shit that real adult people need to know about. So tag a sex positive friend in the comments. Every person you tag gets you an entry. So if you're out here like, oh my gosh, I love this girl, I love this podcast, I love everything that she stands for, tag all your friends, right? You get an entry per tag. And especially if you're trying to win this basket of goodies that I got for this very merry giveaway, it's all my favorite things. It's my favorite sex toys, my favorite lubricants, my favorite date night games. I mean, it's a damn good giveaway. And we're going to have 3 winners total. So more chances for you to win. It's not just going to be 1 giveaway winner, 3 giveaway winners total. All right, and then the 4th thing for you to do, so you're going to like the post, you're going to follow me on Instagram, you're going to tag a sex-positive friend or as many sex-positive friends as you'd like, and then your 4th step is going to be subscribe and review this podcast. Hey, guess what? You're already here listening to it. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, on iHeart, I'm not sure. I know the number 1 platform is Apple Podcasts, so that's where you're going to rate and review this podcast. Now, if you're new to the podcast world, rating is where you click on one of the 5 stars. Hopefully you give me a 5-star review. I mean, hello, thank you. But really, I want your honest rating. So if you rate, that means you're clicking the 5 stars, and review actually means you are going to click on the thing that says write a review, and you are going to leave me some feedback about either this episode, any of the episodes that you've already listened to in the past, or just the podcast in general, me in general, whatever you want. I want to hear your genuine, true feedback about the podcast. This has been going on for over a year now, this podcast, and this is going to be the last episode of 2020 because for my next announcement, give it a minute. Oh, I'll tell you in a second. I know, that's foreplay at its finest. It's like the suspense I know is killing you. So you're gonna write a review because listen, y'all, when people are looking for podcasts to listen to, there's a shit ton of podcasts out there. I need them to see the reviews from you all, you listeners, you people that love the podcast, the people that love me and support me. I appreciate you so much. So rate and review. Actually, type some words in there. That can't be stressed enough. Type some words in there because people want to know what this podcast is all about. So if you're looking to win that very merry giveaway, again, we'll have 3 winners. Go to my Instagram post today. You're going to like the post. Follow me on Instagram if you don't already. Tag a sex-positive friend or as many as you want. And then subscribe and review this podcast. Another entry. So here's your bonus entry. Share the post on your story. Share your post on your Instagram story and make sure to tag me, and that's going to give you an extra giveaway entry. This is starting today, again, December 14th, and this is going to end on December 21st, which is next Monday. Again, 3 winners total. And for the best announcement ever. So as I just mentioned, I know all good things have to come to an end. I will be taking the last 2 weeks of the podcasting. I will be taking the last 2 weeks of podcasting off, meaning we won't have an episode on the 21st or the 27th, 8th, whatever that last Monday is, because, are you so excited? Here it is. I'm going to be ending the year with my first ever masterclass. So this giveaway is going to run this week for the whole week. And then on December 22nd, that's a Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern, I'll be running my first ever masterclass, which is how to get what you want in the bedroom. Let me say that again. How to get what you want in the bedroom. Yes, I'm going to be holding a masterclass again, December 22nd at 7 p.m. It's completely free. If you want to register for that, it's going to be taking place on Zoom, so you need to register so that way you get the Zoom link. You're going to go to my website, rachelmaine.com, RACHELMAINE.com, under programs, and you'll see it right there listed first. Sign up for my free masterclass, How to Get What You Want in the Bedroom. I'm so excited. 2020 has been amazing, y'all. Again, I started this podcast in January. I'm going to take the last 2 weeks off of podcasting, but that just means from publishing podcasts. Don't you worry your little butts off. I'm going to be recording my ass off these last 2 weeks, so that way 2021 is going to be better than ever. Launching new programs, launching some individual coaching, all the things are coming, y'all. So enter in that very merry giveaway, register for the masterclass. If there's things that you want in the bedroom that you're not getting right now, this is the masterclass for you. Pretty much everybody. That's the number one thing I hear from women that come to me and want to work with me. Like, how do I get more orgasms? How do I get what I want? How do I communicate these things? What sex toys do I bring? What lubricant do I need to use? Yes, we're going to cover all that. All right, so I know I'll see your butts on the Instagram. Share, rate, review, and definitely join the masterclass. Completely free to you. Share it with a friend. You're welcome. All right, now to get into the last episode of 2020. Here we go. Okay, so what better way to end the year in podcasting with the conversation about how to give better blowjobs? If you've been listening to the last recent episodes, I recently referred to myself as the blowjob queen, and I have been getting so many messages about this. Rachel, what are your best blowjob tips? Rachel, how can I enjoy giving head more? Please, please, please help. How do you even like giving blowjobs? Like, ew, that's disgusting. Maybe not the number one thing, but something that I hear often is the ABCs of blowjobs, right? And when I say the ABCs, what I mean is the only time you're giving a blowjob or head, whatever you want to refer to it as, is the ABCs: anniversaries, birthdays, and Christmas. Or maybe that's coach purses, whatever you want to refer to it as. But that's just something that kind of floats around in the pure romance world. That's a funny one-liner that a lot of consultants make. And I've always been on the other end, as the person sitting there, that I'm like, man, I love this. It's one of my favorite foreplay things. Almost every almost every session of intercourse or intimacy that Danny and I have, it starts off with oral favors or some sort of manual stimulation. I think this is a great way to segue into intercourse. And for us, if I'm speaking truthfully on our couple and what we do in our marriage, oftentimes that is our episode of sex. That is our sex for the day or for, whenever it's happening. It doesn't always lead to intercourse because I truly think it's because we both genuinely enjoy oral favors, both giving and receiving. And so I got asked again on an Instagram. I didn't ask me anything the other day on my story, and somebody asked what are the top tips for blowjobs? And I'm like, you know what? that is the perfect way for me to end the year, giving some tips for all of you that are wanting to enjoy giving head more, or wanting to help your partner enjoy it more. Again, this is something that I've always enjoyed. There's been some good and some bad encounters, of course. I think like with any sexual things that happen. So I wrote out a few things, and I'll kind of go into more detail and how I answered on the story the other day. So if you do follow me, this is going to be a little bit digging deeper into the things that I had recommended for this person that asked. So first and foremost, y'all know I've been with Pure Romance for over 6 years now, and so that's when I started going to parties. I got introduced into this wonderful world of flavored lubricants. Now, the two that are usually my go-tos when it comes to giving oral favors are the whipped lubricant and the Sensations lubricant. And the whipped lubricant is more of like an emollient-based lotion-y type lubricant. So what that does is it actually helps us salivate more. So when you're using that specific lubricant to give a blowjob, you're actually producing more saliva. I'm sorry if that sounds really gross to anybody, but that's just the truth of the matter. That's one of actually the benefits of using that lubricant. So it actually produced more saliva, which makes it easier because have you ever tried to give a blowjob with like cotton mouth or dry mouth? Like that is not enjoyable, and it's annoying. I mean, it's I don't even want to say it's impossible, but like that doesn't feel good for either person involved when this blowjob is happening. Okay, so more saliva the better. And some people that are receiving the blowjobs, they would say that that's a turn on for them. You know, if their spit drooling out of their mouth, or their spit like, you know, leaking down the penis, that can be a turn on for a lot of people. So using a lubricant, that's another added benefit to it. Now, the Sensations lubricant is a warming lubricant. So this is ideal for people that are giving a blowjob that don't so much like it, because with having a warming lubricant, that actually can help speed up the process of things, because that warming sensation is very, very enticing to the person that has the penis. And so even just doing some heavy breathing, not like like oh my gosh, I did not know how fun this episode was going to be. But like that you know, that like warm bedroom breath, or even like a light blowing on the penis, because that hot and cold sensation when you're applying that type of breath to a warming lubricant, it really, really heightens things, you know, down under, if you will. So flavored lubes those are the two that usually are my go-tos. And also, if you're someone that doesn't so much enjoy the taste of penis, like let's just be real, like penis doesn't taste, you know, it doesn't like taste bad. Like it really, if you think about it, like it really doesn't have much taste to it. But if you're someone that you are, let's say, food driven, or you really, really like the taste of fruity things or things that don't taste like a penis, this is another advantage for you to use a flavored lubricant. And even if you're someone that's listening to this and you're like, oh, well, I don't know, because then what if we do have sex afterwards and the lubricant gets inside of me? That's something for you to do some research on. That's why it's important that you are using, you know, good lubricants. The two that I'm suggesting to you, I can tell you, are both safe if they do get internally, inside vaginally. But think about this. If you're using a flavored lubricant and you're giving somebody that oral favor, you're likely licking off most of the lubricant before anything is inserted into your vagina. And at the end of the day, these are both lubricants, so they should be safe to get inside the vagina. All right, but definitely do your research. You don't want to use anything that has glycerin or that is sugar-based. That is not good for the vagina. Might be good for your mouth when you're giving a blowjob, but I'm telling you, Whipped or Sensations, you can find them. The link in the show notes and the link in my Instagram bio, you can always click right there. It'll take you right to my Pure Romance store. You can grab any of these anytime. So Whipped and Sensations, flavored lubes in general, huge advocate of the flavored lubes, although again, these are my personal blowjob tips for you, so I don't have to have a flavored lube to get the good deed on. It is, again, something that I genuinely enjoy doing. It makes me feel it makes me feel sexy. It makes me feel in power. It makes me feel empowered. I know that it's a turn on for me when I know that I am turning on my partner, and that's a turn on for a lot of partners. If you're someone that likes to give that pleasure, it can be a huge turn on for us when we see that what we're doing is doing something to our partner, right? Same thing when we're wearing lingerie, or if we're giving somebody a massage, right? When you hear noises, when you see the faces change and stuff, like that's reassurance to you that what you're doing feels good to them, and that usually lights us up, right? Like we know we're doing the right thing. So that for me is why I would refer to myself as a blowjob queen. And not to say if you're someone that's listening to this and you don't like giving oral favors, that's totally fine. Like I know many women, some even very close friends of mine, they are like, fuck no, I am not putting that thing in my mouth. And that I'm not here to judge. This episode is more for women that maybe want to dabble into more blowjobs on a more frequent basis, or you don't like it right now and you're listening to this to get some good info on maybe how you can change that for yourself. And if you're a dude listening to this, I'm just saying you might want to share this with your girl. If you have a girl, you have a partner. If your partner is a dude, you can share it with him too. I think, all mouths work the same. So whoever you want to share this with, it could be helpful. Okay, so the next few things you're going to see on my Insta page here in the next few days. I'm going to post an actual diagram of a penis because I think that's important in knowing the correct anatomy. If you get to it first, you're listening to this before I make this post, definitely just Google a diagram of a penis, because a lot of the terms and stuff, I'm going to do my best to explain it, but it really is helpful, I know, for all of you visual learners out there when you're able to see actually the places that I'm referring to. Okay, so aside from the flavored lubes, teasing is another really good tip, I guess I have when it comes to talking about blowjobs. So teasing, and when I say teasing, I'm talking about, again, if let's say you are using a flavored lubricant, maybe you're just licking up the side of the penis, maybe you're doing, again, that sexy breath over the penis, maybe you're just focusing on the tip of the penis. I mean, there's so many different things, but that teasing, think of that in anything that we do, right? That teasing builds up that anticipation, that builds up that momentum, and it's like giving them a little taste of what's to come. So teasing definitely is one of my tips and tricks for giving better blowjobs, as well as tugging and playing with the balls. I was going to use the fancy word testicles, but they're balls. We'll just call it as it is. So tugging and applying pressure and kind of not like yanking on them, but like pulling down on the balls. And you're like caressing them. I'm literally, I wish y'all could see me right now. I'm like moving my hands around like I'm like circulating balls in my palm right now. So, but anyways, you're holding them, you're cupping them, and they're so fun. I just love them. I'm so fascinated by the male anatomy, honestly. But you're just like, you're caressing them in your hand, and then maybe use your thumb and you're kind of like pushing up against the base of the penis, and then you bring your hand down. So you're doing a little bit of tugging on the balls. That can be also very stimulating to the person that's receiving the favor. Okay, so pulling on the balls, and it's so fun. You can almost feel them like get more firm and firm. That is also I feel like I'm totally nerding out about blowjobs right now, but it is what it is. But also when you do this, when you engage the balls, if they feel super, super saggy or like very loose, that likely means that person ejaculated earlier in the day or maybe even the day before. If they feel very, very firm, that means, I'm just saying, if you're someone that doesn't so much like to give a blowjob and you go to feel the balls and you're like, they're super firm, like you can do a few of these tricks and they're probably going to come very quickly. The firmer the balls are, the more that person is ready to ejaculate. All right, so that's another advantage too for someone that maybe doesn't like giving blowjobs because they've been surprised by ejaculation in the past. Maybe you got ejaculation shot in your eye or something like that, or somebody came on your face and you're pissed off about it and now you never want to give a blowjob again. Again, I'm not here to judge. We all have a story, right? We've all encountered some probably crazy shit in our lives when it comes to sexual things, but when you feel the balls getting firmer and firmer and you are giving that favor, then you know, right? That's your sign that they're probably going to come like any second now, okay? So pull out those last minute tricks, these last few things I'm gonna tell you, and then boom, get on with your day. All right, so you got flavored lubes, teasing, caressing the balls, giving a little tugging, and then moaning. So as I said, when we hear other people making noises and when we make noises ourselves, auditory things in foreplay, that's one of our senses that can also be a very big turn on for a lot of people. So if you, the person giving the blowjob, is moaning and making sounds in the ways that you are enjoying it, maybe throwing a little dirty talk in between there. Oh my gosh, you feel so full in my mouth. Oh my gosh, I love the taste of your cock. Things like that. That is also turn-ons, again, hitting in that auditory sense. But moaning for sure. And then think about it. If you're giving a blowjob and you hear your partner moaning, is that a turn on for you? That's something that you might want to know about yourself. So maybe if your partner is not and you think that's something you need, maybe that's a conversation that you have. You know, I would love to be able to give you more blowjobs, and I would love to hear from you when the things I'm doing feel good to you, right? Having that conversation, opening up that door, because that can be a real game changer for a lot of people too. So the moaning for sure on both ends really, but for you as well, I know personally, like even when masturbating and stuff, like noises, and even in sex, like some people are super noisy in sex and others are not. So if you're a noisy, sexy person, sexing person, this is, what day is it? It's not even a Monday right now when I'm recording this. But again, just moaning. All right, I'm just going to leave it at that. I feel like I don't need to go into more details about that. But the eye contact, y'all. Eye contact is something that I struggled with for a long time, especially when it came to oral favors. And if you're listening to this, think about it. Do you usually have your eyes closed or your eyes open? If you've watched porn ever in your life, likely the person giving the blowjob, their eyes were probably open, right? Oh, awkward. It's so awkward. I know. It's so awkward though. That's just my personal opinion. However, if you're in the mood and you're in that super sexy, like fucking I'm going for it type of mood, eye contact can possibly be the final move. If you're like, I'm over this, I want them to come right now, I'm saying try looking up. Continue what you're doing, but also look up. I discovered this actually quite recently. I think I shared another story. I got some new lingerie, I put it on, was giving my husband an oral favor. He's sitting on the bed, I'm on my knees on the floor. And in that position, I'll say it's easier to look up rather than if you're laying in bed and you got to look up, then it's like, oh my gosh, you kink your neck. So maybe it's just some positions are better than others. But I remember like, I don't know what got into me. It was probably lingerie, honestly. I told you, I'm a huge advocate of lingerie. But I look up and we literally talked about it afterwards. I was like, what happened there? Like that seemed very good for you. And I was like, is it because I looked at you? And he's like, yes, like huge turn on. And it makes sense, right? Your partners want to see you. Some of us, especially women, I think we struggle with being seen. That's probably why eye contact can feel so awkward for so many of us. So I'll say this is not something that I go to often. It's definitely a mood, if you will. But I had to throw eye contact in there as a tip because that was a more recent realization that I had in my own marriage. And so, sharing is caring. If I can help the next person along, then why not? All right, so eye contact, and then, all right, here we go. The frenulum, the corona, and the perineum. All right, these are three important places to know on the penis. So the perineum first is the basically the taint, all right? If I'm just gonna, again, use verbiage that is what most people know, but basically that area between the balls and the anus, there's a very, very, very nerve-rich pad of skin there that's known as the perineum or the taint. So applying pressure to there, you're externally stimulating the prostate on a person that has a penis, and that is very, very, very enticing for them. So another fun just plug in here is if you're using a C-ring that has that double ring to it and that ring wraps around the balls, that second ring, when it's wrapped around, is again pushing pressure up against that perineum, which super stimulating for them. So if you're already cupping the balls and you're playing with them, again, here I am spinning balls in my hand, imaginary balls that I might add. But if you're already doing this, then applying that pressure, your hand's already nearby, so applying that pressure to the perineum while still giving the oral favor can be super beneficial for both of you. You, again, if you're somebody that wants to do this in a more sped up way, and your partner if they're wanting to get an orgasm off, right? So applying pressure to that perineum, super stimulating. And then also focusing on the main vein of the penis. So you're going to feel it. It's very, very prominent. It's on the shaft of the penis. Focusing on that main vein with your tongue. So kind of making your tongue a little bit more firm. You know, we can all make our tongue like flat and kind of loose, and then we can also make it very firm, like hard. So using a firm tongue and really focusing and tracing along that main vein of the penis can be super stimulating. Now, do both of these at the same time. Whew, girl. Okay. And then my final tip is going to be really focusing on the tip of the penis, because your hand is there for a reason. You don't have to, let's say you're focusing on the balls and then you move up and you place your hand around the base of the penis, so around the shaft at the base. If you have some saliva there or you are using a lubricant, moving your hand up and down simultaneously in the same way that your head is moving up and down. I literally should have recorded this in a video, y'all, because I'm doing so many movements. But you're moving your hand and your head in the same direction at the same time, which means the whole penis is being stimulated, but your mouth is primarily focusing on just the tip, right? And that is the frenulum and the corona area. Basically, where somebody would be circumcised, where that lip is, that's where I'm saying to focus. So that's not a lot, and that's especially good for somebody that doesn't like penises in their mouth very much. You're like, I don't want to deep throat, I don't want to do these things. Great, this is the tip for you. So use your hand, focus your mouth on the tip of the penis, and move your head up and down simultaneously. And that is something that works for me. Oh, my husband is probably gonna lose his shit knowing that I just recorded this episode, but he knows the drill. Sharing is caring. I know I just blew a lot of minds in the last 20 minutes of recording this. So anyways, that is that. Y'all, I'm trying to think. I made notes before this, but that's everything that I can think of right now off the top of my head. Of course, we have more podcast episode coming next year. So if I think of anything else, I'll drop them in future podcasts. But for now, I hope that's enough to get you started. So incorporating flavored lubes, teasing, tugging on the balls, caressing the balls, moaning, eye contact, that perineum pressure, and then the simultaneous movement with your hand and mouth at the same time. You're welcome. All right. So if you are one of the ABC people out there, anniversaries, birthdays, Christmas, or coach purses, maybe you get a coach for Christmas and it's like 2 for 1. Now you know this episode's coming out right before Christmas time. So now you got some tips and tricks to, make it a very Merry Christmas. And if you already haven't gone and entered it in the giveaway, make sure to do that. And I will see you all in 2021. I am so excited. The next time you listen to this podcast, we're going to have a new intro. We're going to have a new cover, new extra, all the things are changing. I'm so pumped for 2021, y'all. So freaking pumped. I love you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Remember to rate and review if you love this podcast. Sharing is caring, just like I share with all of you. Same goes for you. Share this podcast because that means you care about the people that you're sharing it with, and you also want people to have more pleasurable, orgasmic lives. All right. Until next time, I love you. Thank you so much.